very special speech today by Prabhu. I'm going to record. I'm going to live.
Hare Krishna. So we must thank you so much for coming to Vrindaban to visit with us. You know, in Vrindaban you have to drive for hours and hours, and then you get off the highway and you're driving around here in the hills of West Virginia. You don't know what to expect. You're going around corners and up and down the hills. People think they're lost. So we'll chant one more prayer before we begin the class. Jnana Vijnana Yogena Jnana Vijnana Yogena Karmanam Udaram Yataha Karmanam Udaram Yataha Hiranyakesha Padmaksha Hiranyakesha Padmaksha Padmamudra Padambuja Padmamudra Padambuja Brahma Jnana Vidyana Yogena Karmana Mudaram Jata Hiranyakesha Padmaksha Padmamudra Padambuja What about that?
Jnana Vijnana Udaranjata Hiranya Kesha Padmaksha Karmamudra Padambuja Jnana Vijnana Udaranjata Hiranya Kesha Padmaksha
Jnana of spiritual knowledge, Vijnana and application, Yogena, by means of mystic yoga, Karmanam, of material actions, Udaram, uprooting, Jata, the roots, Hiranyakesha, golden hair, Padma Aksha, lotus eye, Padma, Padma Mudra, marked with the sign of a lotus, Padma Amruta, having lotus feet, and the text. By mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus in such a way that by studying this philosophy, people will be able to uproot the deep-rooted desire for karma, fruitive activities. Everyone in this material world engages in achieving the fruits of his labor. A man tries to be happy by achieving the fruits of his own honest labor, but actually he becomes more and more entangled. One cannot get out of this entanglement unless he has perfect knowledge or devotional service. Those who are trying to get out of this entanglement by speculation are also doing their best in the Vedic scriptures, are also doing their best. But in the Vedic scriptures, we find that if one has taken to the devotional service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, he can very easily uproot the deep-rooted desire for fruitive activities. Sankhya philosophy will be broadcast by Kapila Muni for that purpose. His bodily features are also described herein. Jnana does not refer to ordinary research work. Jnana entails receiving knowledge from the scriptures through the spiritual master by precipitate succession. In this modern age, there is a tendency to research by mental speculation and concoction. But the man who speculates forgets that he has himself is subject to 4 defects of nature. He is sure to commit mistakes. His senses are imperfect. He is sure to fall into illusion, and he is cheating. Unless one has perfect knowledge from disciplic succession, he simply puts forth some theories of his own creation. Therefore, he is cheating people. Jnana means knowledge received through disciplic succession. And the scriptures, disciplic succession from the scriptures. And vijnana means practical application of such knowledge. The Kapila Muni's Sankhya system of philosophy is based on jnana and vijnana. Okay. So, it sounds a little too loud to me. But here, we have Kapila Muni. He is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he has come specifically to present the Sankhya path. You know, in this spiritual consciousness, in spiritual life, there's 2 types of paths in one sense. There's the Sankhya path, and the Sankhya path is to analyze. Of course, we have defects. So if we ourselves analyze the material world, we may come to a defective conclusion. That is to get the knowledge directly from the Shastras and the Sadhu and the Guru. But very often, one may endeavor for this analytical knowledge. We're trying to analyze the function of the material world. In the MECO-Media, this is also explained. Krishna touches upon the Sankhya philosophy. In the 5th chapter Actually, Arjuna, at the beginning of the fifth chapter, he's asking Krishna, well, you told me to renounce, but again, you also told me to engage in activity, to engage in this Saranya. We all have our own propensities, that we can utilize our propensities to serve God. And so Arjuna is a little confused. He says, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then you recommend work with devotion. So he's a little confused, and Krishna explains. He goes on to explain. Krishna says, only the ignorant speak of devotional service, which is referred to here as karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world. He says that this is Sanktirtan. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both paths. So that's very interesting. Krishna is making very interesting point here. That so many people try to look at the material world. Krishna later on goes to explain in the 7th chapter that the material world is comprised of 8 elements. There's 5 physical elements, and then there's 3 subtle elements. There's earth, fire, air, water, and ether are the 5 physical elements. And then the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego are the 3 subtle elements. And so Krishna is touching upon this idea that Kapila is presenting, Samkhya philosophy, to analyze the material world and hopes that we can find some spiritual solution. Because the material world, everything is constantly changing. Everything is very, very bewildering that the material world never stays the same for very long. All of the materials are growing, the birth of the human being. So the materials are, in one sense, are also going through these different stages. The living entities are going through various stages. There's birth, and there's growth, and there's maintenance, and then there's deterioration, and finally it is destroyed completely. So in one sense, all of the various elements are going through a similar process. There's sometimes it looks brand new, just like the springtime. The spring is coming and everything is so extraordinary, buzzing with life. And the material world is a very, very favorable place to live. But the problem with the material world is there's always some difficulty that arises. This is also explained later on in the Bhagavatam. We're in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavatam, and in the 5th chapter of Bhagavatam, it's one nice chapter. It's called the Forest of Enjoyment. So the material world is compared to a forest. And so on one hand, people enter the forest, they want to get the natural resources of the forest, they want to utilize the natural resources, just like people today. They try to exploit the earth, they're getting the natural resources, they're transforming these resources into some commodity that they can sell and become rich with. And so this is going on. And so people enter into the forest for various reasons. They want to find some enjoyment. They want to find the natural resources and utilize those natural resources for their wealth, to increase their wealth. But the problem is, and this is also explained, I think, because of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. And so here we have, all beings have their source in these two natures. That right now, in a sense, we're stuck together, all these two different natures in our bodies. We have a material body. Most people don't distinguish between the material body, which is only temporary, and the spiritual body, which is eternal. Most people think that these things are just fused together, they're just stuck together. And there's the material, and then there's the mental, and the spiritual. It's all somehow or other stuck together. They don't make a distinction. But the wise person, they can begin to make a distinction. And so this distinction is called this process of Sanktirtan yoga. And so very often, to facilitate this analytical study, now they want some experience. So those who are intelligent, they may go into the forest, or they may go into the Himalayan mountains. They live in a cave. They detach themselves from all worldly activities. And they're sitting in the cave, silently, and they're breathing. They're meditating on the breathing process. Krishna also goes on to say that he is this breathing process. It doesn't take much effort on our part to breathe. Take a breath.
Breathe in. Just hold that breath for a moment. So the yogis,
Meditating on this. And those who are intelligent, they can understand, because the material world is arranged in such a way, on one hand, it's totally bewildering. But on the other hand, if we want to apply the Sankhya philosophy to apply our intelligence, then we can get a lot of insight. Just like the breathing itself. We take a breath. We breathe in. There's nothing more precious than the breath. We can't live without breath for more than a few moments. The breath is more valuable. If somebody cannot breathe, they'll sacrifice all their wealth. Let me take another breath. And so, this is the nature of the material world, is that when we breathe in, we want to keep things that are very valuable and very precious. We want to keep those, right? We even make a bank account, or we have a little deposit box where we put valuable things. And so one would think that if the breath is the most valuable thing, I want to keep that. I want to hang on to that breath. But you know what? We cannot keep the breath. This is a very valuable lesson. valuable thing. And eventually in life, as we're growing older, and as we're approaching death, we can't keep anything. All of the valuable things, all of the precious things that we've collected in life, we cannot keep those things. We have to let them go. We have to give them back to the universe from where we got these things. And so this is a very important principle to understand the Sankhya philosophy. But it doesn't end there. See, that's what the yogis in the Himalayan mountains and in the forest, those yogis are meditating. And they think, oh, I've attained the spiritual domain. You know, but Prabhupada later on in the book, in Srimad Bhagavatam, he explains that the Sankhya philosophy is only a doorway leading into the spiritual world. It's not the conclusion. So those yogis who are meditating in the Himalayan mountains, they've rejected the material world. Now they're sitting quietly, silence. Maybe they've even learned how to stop the mind, because the mind is constantly rattling. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that the mind can be our best friend or it can be our worst enemy. We have to be careful how to treat the mind. And so the yogis, they may have ceased the ramblings of the mind, and they're sitting quietly, and they've ceased all material activities. But that's not spiritual life. To stop material activity is only the beginning of the spiritual life. Prabhupada explains that bhakti actually is engaging in activity. But now we don't engage the activity from our false ego. No, we shed the false ego. We shed the foolish mind. And now we're engaging in service to Krishna, direct service to Krishna. And so this is what Prabhupada has brought. He's brought this to the Western world. Not very many yogis even understand this. Because Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that there are many, many yogis on the path, but only a few out of all of the yogis and out of all of the people who are searching for real spiritual knowledge. Only a very few know him in truth. So we're very fortunate that we receive this knowledge. You know, nowadays people, there's so much talk about fake news. There's fake news and real news. And there's also talk about all of these conspiracy theories. So there's so much, everyone, Prabhupada calls it in the verse over here that we're studying.
These are all concoctions.
Unless one has perfect knowledge from the cyclic succession, he simply puts forth some theories. Whether it's conspiracy theory, so many different theories.
And these theories,
Prabhupada explains, are just concoctions from one's own creation. Of course, there are so many deceptive things going on in the material world. But the conspiracy theorists don't, unless they understand that they're not the body, then they'll be just rotating life after life with samsara in their confusion. Unless we come to understand that we are not the body, but we are the eternal spirit soul within the body. So this is the
path of
spiritual life. And to understanding between those who see the absolute truth as just a shedding of the ego and then emerging into some divine oneness. But Chaitanya, he gives a more in-depth understanding. So that there's that oneness on one side and devotional activities to the Supreme Lord. That we're not just one, but we are unique individuals and we all have a very unique devotional relationship with the Supreme Lord. And so there's this bickering going on between the impersonalists on one hand and the personalists on the other hand. And so this bickering is going on for generations and centuries and countless eons. This is the way the religions are devised. That if you want to argue about something, why argue about politics? Why argue about sports? Why argue about so many thousands of things to argue about in the world? If you have to argue, then at least argue about some spiritual substance. The spiritual substance that is there. And so, but Chaitanya has made an interesting conclusion. Achinta Beta Beta Tattva. So those people who are saying that we're all one, yes, he agrees. Achinta Beta Beta Tattva. That we're all one, but we're still all unique individuals as well. So this is very difficult to the mundane mind to conceive. How is it that we're all one, but still I'm an individual and you're an individual? We're all individuals. This is extraordinary. And Chaitanya explains that Achinta Beta Beta Tattva. Achinta means that it's inconceivable to the mundane mind. Yes, we are all one, but yet we're all unique individuals at the same time. And so, have you any experience that we were not individuals? We're always individuals. Who is the experience that they're not individuals? Right now we're individuals. And before we assumed this body, we were individuals. And after we give up the body, we'll still be an individual. So this is a great revelation. This is what Krishna is talking about constantly in the Bhagavad Gita. That we all have a The four Vedas recommend so many different rituals. The four Vedas talk about so many different demigods, the various personalities of the universal affairs. King Indra, and Surya, and Chandra, and Agni. So many thousands and thousands of different personalities of the universal affairs. It could all be very bewildering. And even in the Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter, Krishna explains that don't become bewildered by the flowery words of the Vedas. They're very bewildering. So that's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has summed up the essence of all Vedic knowledge. You know, there's many books. If you go to the bookstore, you'll find books like International Gardens, or Gardening for Dummies, Music for Dummies. So people buy those books. They don't think they're dummies. No. They buy them because it's a simple introduction to a complex thing. You want to do gardening? Okay, what is the basic steps? What is the essential features of how to garden. So they take so many books on gardening and they present it, wrap it all up and present it in a very simple format that anyone can use. And so Bhagavad Gita is the latest of dummies. Don't bother studying the Bhagavad Gita. It's too complex, too bewildering. Don't study the Vedic literatures. But simply, if you study the Bhagavad Gita, then you get the conclusion of all Vedic knowledge. So we must be very fortunate. Somehow or other we've come in touch with the right person, Srila Prabhupada, and his movement, his Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We must consider ourselves very fortunate. And we come in process and utilize the process of the most sublime of meditation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we ask everyone that when we go home, we want to be inspired. What we can do is take this knowledge home and take this process of meditation home and utilize this in our own home and develop this much further, go deeper and deeper. This process is meant to go deeper and deeper into understanding what the material world is about, what our relationship is to the material world, and what our real relationship is, the temporary relationship that we have with the material world. The material elements are actually eternal. You know, what does the scientists say? That energy cannot be created nor destroyed. This material energy is eternal. But the thing is that we are spiritual, and we cannot derive any real pleasure from the material. You know, one comedian, he said it like this, that if you're hungry, you can't satisfy your hunger by pasting sandwiches or food and fruits on your body. You can't do that. So we really have to take the meditation. I was about to say medicine, so I guess this meditation is a form of medicine. Because right now we have a distorted understanding. And this meditation and the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are meant to really help us begin to focus on what is truth, what is Dharma, and help us to apply the Dharmic principles in our own lives. And in this way, we can be very joyful. We can be very peaceful. This is the solution that Prabhupada has so kindly brought to America and to the Western world. So we must consider ourselves very fortunate. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. Are there any thoughts or questions? Prabhu?
For a very enlightening class. I wanted to ask because in the text it's mentioned that Kapila Muni will uproot the deep-rooted desire for work in this material world. And in the purport, Prabhu says that everyone in this material world is engaged in achieving the fruits of his labor, and that a man tries to be happy by achieving the fruits of his own honest labor. But he finds out that actually he becomes more and more entangled. So I wonder if you could mention a little bit on why that is, why, honestly, we're just trying to maintain our families and things, and we end up getting just more and more perplexed with our material condition.
Even to honest labor, you're saying.
Yeah.
That's an interesting addition that, even honest labor, we become, even though we come to be honest in life, but still we become entangled more and more. But what was the question? How is it possible?
Yeah, that why is it, because we're engaging in it according to honest labor to maintain our families and things, that we're just becoming, we find out we're becoming more and more entangled.
Yes, this is problematic.
So that it explains that there's a process that first we engage in kind of the cultivation of our field of activity, and that field of activity, what that leads to sense gratification. Now we have honest labor, but that honest labor is in a sense spoiled, because if we labor honestly, we'll be rewarded and we'll be heaped with wealth. But what happens when we have wealth? Wealth corrupts. The more money and the more power we have is corrupted. So just like what that saying, that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So there's a state, a progression of what's going on here. So we become, not less attached, but more and more attached. When we're successful, we're thinking, oh, look what I've achieved. Look what I've done. All by my own endeavor. But it's not our own endeavor. Krishna is our talent. Krishna is our intelligence. Krishna, we're getting that talent and getting that intelligence and utilizing the resources of the material world. We didn't create anything. We're only manipulating the material world. I don't know what they're thinking. Oh, this is an honest endeavor. But the more you think, that's why it's important to understand the Sankhya philosophy. We're not really bound and attached to anything in the material world. So to understand that, then the endeavor can become honest. Otherwise, it's very entangling. What can we do? This is just the nature of the material world. And even for one who, there's a very beautiful story of King Bharat. He's also known as Jab Bharat. King Bharat, at one point in his life, he renounced his kingdom. And he went into the forest and he was meditating. But then what happened, nearby, there was a lion who was roaring, and the lion saw a deer, and the deer was pregnant. And to get away from the lion, the deer jumped across the water, jumped across a little stream of water. But as it was jumping across, then it relieved itself of its pregnancy, and the little baby deer and was crying out for help and got barked. He was disrupted from his meditation, and he went there, and he found the little deer, and he took care of that deer as it was growing up. And he became more and more affectionately involved with that little deer. Such a beautiful little creature. So precious. A little baby deer. A baby in any species of life. They're very precious.
And so he had gone.
He had renounced his kingdom to go into the forest to pursue his spiritual life. But now it came to a dead end. And in his next life, because he was meditating upon the deer, he took birth as a deer. And fortunately for him, there were sages nearby in the forest, and they were always chanting, they were always discussing Krishna Katha. And so he would go there, and he would be listening and relishing this. And then again he took birth once again as Jagpal. Jagpal is somebody who is a little bit, what is it called?
Autistic.
Autistic, or, yeah, they really don't know how to deal and relate to objects in the material world. And so he's a little foolish in regard, but he's not foolish at all. He assumes that identity of being foolish. So he doesn't have to relate to anybody and become entangled in the material world. He assumes that identity. And so to get entangled is a very dangerous element. And so the Sankhya philosophy takes us up to the point of don't be entangled. Don't engage in mundane activities. But Krishna consciousness takes us beyond that. Yes, we have real life. We have a real identity. We have real relationships, but everything is based on Krishna consciousness. And so that's what the gift that Srila Prabhupada has for us. So, do you want to make a reaction about anything? So thank you for your kind attention.
Hare Krishna, so thank you for visiting the Vrindaban. We have a number of events for you today. We now serve prasad in the meeting hall, which is next to the children's playground. We use the side door of this wash building. 9:30 we offer prayers to Lord Shivadev. Please come back to the temple room. 10 o'clock we're going on Govardhan Parikrama. We will meet in front of the temple room. We will go along the lake. Safa will be there, Radha, Shama, and Shiva is protecting the town. 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon we have a workshop about teaching garden, which is devoted to Prabhupada. We have midday RP 12:30 for a class, and we serve the lunch prasad at 1:30 in the afternoon. We appreciate you joining us today for this weekend. We wish you safely back home, and we hope to see you soon. Hare Krishna. This way, Sanktirtan Prabhu ki jai.
One last thing is, someone mentioned my books. There's a couple of books that I have available, one on Mahabharata, and also another book on Hanuman, if you'd like to take a look at the books that I have available here on the shelf. And once again, we thank you for visiting.